Oh, my hair's all raggedy. Hey, it's Suzanne Titkemeyer, formerly of No Longer Quivering, now just of myself. I wanted to talk a little bit about going grocery shopping in Costa Rica. I've been threatening to do this for a long time, and I have to thank Todd Paulson for his mukbang, I guess you'd call it, he was doing the other day that pushed me into doing this because I want to show a few things. But that's not all I want to talk about today. I don't know if all of you saw that somebody on Twitter answered as though they were KJ to somebody pretending to be KJ. It's all very Inception-like, but it's making me laugh this afternoon. So that's the most I'm going to say about her today, or him. Well, actually, no, I'm going to say a little bit more about him. I want to talk about going to the grocery store. This has been a hell of a day. I sat behind my monitor and I watched the Chauvin trial all day today because I'd gotten wind that somebody was going to testify, but they did not. I don't know if they're going to or not going to or whatever, if they've been scratched or not. But I was just curious. Well, anyway, it was a rumor, so who knows at this point. I got so mad, and then I started fighting with a girlfriend of mine who I love, but she is pretending like anything matters in the Chauvin trial other than the fact that that cop's knee was on not Derek, what am I saying? What a heck of an afternoon I'm having. On George Floyd's neck. She keeps coming up with all these other excuses. For me, this is a bedrock thing. If you think that the problem is that he was using drugs or he had a fake $20 bill, then I don't quite know what to think about you. I do know this is probably going to impact my friendship with this person. I hate to see that, but she keeps trying to convince me. All I can say is I don't care how much drugs he had in him. I don't care if he had a fake 20. I don't care if he was higher than everybody in the town. I don't care if he had a pre-existing condition. I do care that cops don't do that to people, and that if they do or something like that happens, that they do CPR. They're all trained to do CPR. They have to certify every couple of years. Everybody in helping positions has to. So that's what blows my mind. Nobody attempted to stop it. Nobody attempted to help when it was obvious. So there you go. You've got to hear my Chauvin rant. Who knows? Anyway, better get back to talking about food. Okay. Before I moved to Costa Rica, one of Jim's friends said, "How can you go to Costa Rica? How will you even know what to cook?" That is not a problem. Why is that not a problem? Because they have a lot of the same things we have. They don't have everything the same we have, but and why not administer Narcan? You were exactly right. Administer Narcan, do the CPR compressions, something, anything. He was just too long. Do CPR and give him Narcan. Help out. I mean, I fear falling in the hands of cops as a result. So anyway, moving to Costa Rica, this guy told me, "Oh, you'll never be able to cook what they have. You won't know what to do, blah, 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 blah." And this was after we visited a couple times. So I knew darn good and well the main thing I had to do was figure out the names of things. There are great places to shop. There are lots of grocery stores, and you can even get American products at the Automercado and just about anywhere, really. I've just been, so I've got some things to show. I did not get any more of this because we're dieting. I saved the container to put pins in. It's mini sandwiches ice cream. This stuff is the best. I've never had it in the States, but I don't even know if they make it. But that was one of my good finds. There's a lot of things that you're just going to have to learn the Spanish name for. And if you do, you're fine. Example, evaporated milk. Leche evaporata. Okay. I knew what that was. I also got sweetened condensed milk, which I don't know if I'll ever use this. That's only good for desserts and things. But it's pretty easy. I mean, it's a Nestle product. Is the same stuff we get in the States. It's just got a different name. That's all. That is all. So I like that stuff. I make sure I get stuff. One word of caution about shopping here. Great Grains cereal. Blueberry Morning. One of my favorites. This runs almost $8 a box here. So if you're going to get something that they have to import, it's going to be really costly. But here's the good news. There are Costa Rican brands, Central American brands that are every bit as good as this for a lot less. I had some granola earlier today that was with lots of coconut in it instead of the blueberries, because blueberries don't exist here. They're quite expensive if you buy them fresh. They can be like $8 a pint. If you go to Price Mart, which is the Costco here, you can get a big bag for a reasonable price of frozen ones, and that's usually what I do. That's the only ones I keep. I usually don't buy these boxes of this stuff. I love it. I don't love the price tag. And a lot of times you can get versions of all your favorite ones. Pinguinos. I am not going to do a mukbang like somebody did, or even an ADMR. I don't even know how you say that stuff. This is exactly like those cupcakes that Todd Paulson was eating the other night. We were smearing it all over his mouth, and he was making all those almost sexual noises. Ugh. But these are my favorites. Maybe I won't eat these anymore. Maybe I'll just hang on to this because I have a lot less desire from Pinguinos than I ever have before after seeing him smearing the icing and the frost, the inner filling all over his mouth. And you're going to run across things that are just going to make you laugh because they're so bizarre. And you're going to like, who would pay good money for that? Apparently, toasters are not a thing in Costa Rica. They're not a thing here. So guess what I got? Toast. They sell pre-toasted toast here. It's like $1.25 or something. I'm going to use this for stuff like I have some stuff I made. I have some hummus. I probably use it for that. But I bought this to show you guys because this is the thing that makes me laugh. It's some of the crazier things that I come in and I'm like, what? I'm not so surprised by the pinguinos and the evaporated milk and that. Most of the time you can find a good substitute. In Spanish, you just have to look it up, bring your Spanish dictionary with you, and look things up, look them up online before, especially if you could get pronunciations. The other day when I was looking for a heating pad, I had to stop and write down the pronunciation of heating pad in Spanish, the name and the pronunciation. I was looking at it going, oh, okay. That translates to small pillow thermal heating pad. Small pillow thermal. That's the exact translation it was doing. So anyway, long story short, you can get pretty much everything. There's some substitutions you may have to make. You can't get grits here. Grits do not exist in Costa Rica. You're either going to have to do like I've done in the past. I've muled them back in my suitcase, which during the Trump administration, when they were being really goofy about what you had in your suitcase, more than once I've opened up my suitcase to discover my grits were opened or somebody stuck a knife through them and then put tape on it. There's nothing less fun than opening up your suitcase and there are grits everywhere. I don't know what they were expecting that I was bringing back in those grits, but let me tell you, it is nothing. But here you could also do stuff like go to the Automercado. I went there and I got some Italian polenta, and it's pretty cheap. And it's a substitute for grits when we run out. So there's that. The Automercado has my husband's favorite, which is that awful corned beef hash. It's so fatty. He doesn't bite very often. It's $7 a can. Campbell chunky soups are like $5 a can. So as a result, we don't eat a lot of processed foods. We eat a lot of homemade things. The fruits and vegetables here are super duper cheap. You just can't get over it unless you're trying to eat something that's imported. Then you're talking about ATS. Then you're talking about very expensive. Remember those blueberries I was saying? Fresh blueberries are outrageous here. Every now and then you can catch a bargain on oranges. I just bought some nectarines that look like they were imported from China, if I read the label right. I had peaches the other day that I got that were imported from Chile. So they import stuff from all over the place here. If it's South or Central America, it's pretty cheap. If it has to come from the States, you can just hang it up. It's going to be super expensive, which is okay for some things, but you definitely don't want to pay that much for things like a can of corned beef hash. So there's that. One day I was in the auto mercado and I was looking at potatoes, a bag, a 5-pound bag of regular potatoes that you would make mashed potatoes or whatever. And they were $17. They're imported from the States. You can go, I'm sorry, the birds have gone nuts outside. So they're distracting me. You can buy in any Costa Rican grocery store or at the fruit stand, you can get potatoes, fresh potatoes, for very little, very little. That's way less than $17 a 5-pound bag. So you learn really quickly what you can get, where, how expensive it is. Even though I got to say that sometimes, like after a day where you're watching the BS I was watching today on the trial, you break down and you get your comfort food, whatever your comfort food is. If it's cereal with dehydrated blueberries in it, or it's like my husband's corned beef hash. So you have to work that into your budget too here. But most of the time, it's all Costa Rican food that we're eating here. And there's some really good things that I had not ever tried before that were here. There's this drink that I really love that's from Brazil that they import here really cheaply. It's got guarana in it. You take that, and you're like, because it's full of caffeine. It's just will get you buzzing. If you're trying to get through something, you grab this stuff. I think it's something like Cotuba, Cotuba. That's my go-to now when I need a hard dose of caffeine. I'll start drinking that stuff. I won't even touch a Diet Coke. I'll start down in that. Meats are a little bit more tricky here. It's not as easy to just walk into a grocery store here and buy meat. It's not as, first of all, the quality is not going to be really good. The only grocery store I would really buy meat from here is the auto mercado, because they do a good job keeping it like you would expect in the American grocery store, and it's all clean. There are grocery stores here that I've walked into and there are flies buzzing in and out, and the meat counter is not very clean. There's a weird assortment of stuff. You're looking at it going, okay, that's tripe. That's intestine. What is this? I don't know what that cut of meat is. And I think that's hamburger. I just avoid all that. For us, we get all of our meat either at the auto mercado, Price Mart, which is the same thing as Costco here, or I will go to the butchers here. The butchers are good. We have a really good butcher we go to near the Liberia airport. Steaks are almost nothing. They're not Nigerian. They're Nicaraguan grass-fed beef without any hormones or any additives. They have that here. You can get ground beef. You could get lamb there. We've bought pork. Any variety of meat. The only thing they don't sell is chicken. I usually get that in either Auto Mercado or the Price Mart. Everywhere else is kind of a crapshoot, unless you can find like a small local butcher. A lot of times they have really good meat too. You just have to go in there and ask. You have to stop and look it up and Write it down on your little list and walk in there and ask for it. And that's how I learned a lot about Spanish too, was looking up phrases, looking up things. Going to school for it didn't help. Looking up what to say did. And forcing myself to go out and go shopping by myself frequently pushes my boundaries, particularly if I have to do something like ask for a drug that I've never seen here before or that sort of thing. I really have to dig deep for that. So anyway, that's my Wednesday here. Wednesday we go because the grocery store by the house has a 4 for $3. You get 4, you pay for 3. So if we're gonna get local groceries, that's where we go. Now I don't know if I'm gonna eat these bad boys. I really want to, but I'm not sure that I'm not gonna have flashbacks when somebody else eats these things. And I gotta say, these are even better than the Hostess ones. I don't know why, they seem like they're richer. Could be that because I'm eating in fresh air, I'm tasting it differently. I don't really know. So um, that's it. You have any grocery related questions about shopping here? It's not hard. I will say this. I'm going to throw this out. During tourist season, during the height of tourist season, one of the things that makes me laugh the hardest, and I have to bite my tongue not to say get out of my way, is the roving bands of American tourists I see in the grocery store. They're picking up everything, reading it, looking at it, trying to figure it out. Oh no, is it right? And they won't buy anything. They'll just go in the grocery store and cruise around. That just makes me laugh. And I saw a bunch the other day. They were buying all this water. I asked them what they were doing. They said, well, you can't drink the water here. That is a lie. You can drink the water here just fine. This place, Guanacaste, has the best water. It's really high in magnesium and calcium. And when you go to drink it, it helps you. It helps you grow old gracefully, I guess. They have people in here who are in the blue zone. The blue zone, Guanacaste is considered a lot of it a blue zone. So people in the blue zone tend to live a whole lot longer. They have people here well over 100. I don't think I'm going to be one of them, unfortunately, because as long as I'm hobbling around with the cane, and have an asthma, I don't think it's going to help. I don't think that's going to happen. But I will say I am surprised that I made it to the age that I am now. I told somebody the other day, the best revenge is outliving all your enemies. Well, not so much enemies. Outliving all the assholes in your life. That makes a big difference. There are none now, except when Jim gets a little naggy. But that's to be expected, I guess. Anyway, that's all I have to say today. I just wanted to talk a little about the grocery stores and stuff. When I have more time and more air, because today was a real bad asthma day because the guys came out, they sprayed both houses for termites. We do have a termite problem in Guanacaste. You'll be walking along the beach and see these giant termite nests in the trees. There's a bunch of the lot next to us. It's a vacant lot. Most of the land that surrounds us is vacant. They have big termite nests, so we have to spray every 6 months for termites just to make sure we don't get them. Because they did get into our guest house once and they started to eat on one of the doors, and it's not pleasant. So we had to replace the door with a hardwood one. So we had them come spray for that. They said, why don't we spray for ants while we're here? Well, I wasn't here to have that conversation with them because I was hiding in the bedroom with the AC on, like I do every time they do something that I know is going to make my asthma go nuts. So they sprayed everywhere for ants. They sprayed all over the grass, everywhere. And while that's well and good, I reacted. But here's the good thing. Even though we had 2 buildings sprayed for termites and we had ant spray everywhere, you know what the final bill was? The final bill was under $100. How much do you pay in the States for a spray for termites and ants and different things? I seem to remember I used to pay more than that, but then again, I was in the Washington, D.C. area. So it could just be that I was getting the Washington, D.C. area prices. Okay, I'm going to go. You guys take care. Oh, $70? Where, $79? Where are you at? That you're paying that low. Because we weren't. We were paying like $300 every time they came out and did a spray. We paid quite a bit. But that just might be deep Northern Virginia prices for all I know. Wisconsin, yep. Okay. Things are cheaper in Wisconsin. Here, you're not going to find, you might find it's actually a little more expensive for you to live here than it is in Wisconsin. If you come from a high cost of living area, this is a cheaper place to live. If you don't, it's going to be more expensive, probably, or the same. You're not going to save a lot of money. But here, for us, it is a bargain. $60 for internet and cable. And back at the house, I was paying $139 in the States. The same channels and the same bandwidth. Okay, I am finally going to really go this time. Oh, lawn service. Oh, okay. Package deal. Well, we're getting ready to use our gardens. We haven't used them much in the dry season. They're getting ready to start coming around and doing their thing. And the nice thing about the gardeners, we're only paying them about $4 an hour, which is a good wage here. So there's that. And I can't wait. As soon as they groom the yard, I'll show you my yard because it's gorgeous. Except right now, it just looks like a mess of dried leaves, fallen down birds of paradise. The gingers have kind of shrunk back, everything. So y'all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.